I
Okay.
see the,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Kathy.
that's okay. I see I can only see a few little screenshots on the screen here, so I'll let Kathy go by the official roll, and that way I'm not missing anyone.
Miss Bush, she's here because I see her right there.
Okay, well, we'll account since we can see the screenshot there. We'll count it then.
Miss Carter,
Present.
Mr. Brewer,
Here.
Mr. Reader,
Present.
and Miss Lemaster. There, she just popped on there too. I see her name up there.
Perfect timing.
We may be about a minute early here. That's
Sure, yes, we can wait.
yeah. Okay. The last meeting, October 28th meeting, is what we're going to ratify today, and I'm going to. At the last meeting, we had a discussion of conflicts and how they arise and the process to address them, and the various ways, basically, to educate the employees and officers of the plant board with respect to letting them understand when they might be in a precarious area or something that could result in a conflict. I think that's a very good way to go about this, because I think our biggest job really is to educate them with respect to conflicts of interest. And you're talking about ethics. Ethics, you ask 10 people, of course, what to define ethics, you're going to get probably 10 answers. But as it relates to an agency such as the plant board or the city or county government or whatever like that, you're pretty much dealing with conflicts of interest. And one of the things we discussed at the last meeting, which we pretty much agreed to do, is that we would compile a list of vendors, service providers of any kind, be they lawyers or accountants or whatever that the plant board uses, and disseminate this information to all employees and new hires that are coming in. Obviously, you can deal with the new hires much easier than you can the people already here, because you don't have to hire them until they straighten it out. But I can recall in my own experiences when they put the state ethics code into effect. I forgot what administration it was, maybe Jones, I'm not sure, but Jill could answer that. But we wondered what it was about. We didn't have any more orientation on it than the man in the moon, and we found out there was several things we were doing innocently that we shouldn't have been doing under the code, and we had to adjust ourselves to that. And the cabinet secretary said that we're responsible for getting that all lined out. And so it's the same thing here or anywhere else. There's a lack of understanding of what ethics is, but it's like I said, conflicts of interest are basically what we're about trying to find here. And if these people, these employees and officers from the general manager on down understands that what we're doing, if they understand where conflicts can arise or when they need to ask the question, I think that's a big part of it. When they need to answer the question, we put it out to our job pretty much on the one hand is to put this information out there and advise them if they're dealing with any of these people, any of these vendors or whatever, contractors. It may be a guy selling tires put on these vehicles out here. It could be anything. You could have another job with them, on the side. But if they were just, what I would like to see, and I think what we're aiming at here, the burden's going to be on them once they get this information. If they run in this situation where they may be dealing with one of these people, the burden's on them to push it on up the line, go to their supervisor, the chain of command. I'm a big believer in that anywhere, but go to that and say, I'm thinking about doing this, or I'm doing this. Could you give me some kind of an opinion as to whether I ought to continue or not continue? Well, that can go on up to this office up here, I suppose, this executive offices up here, and they can advise them. And if they feel like they need to kick it back to us to solve the question, then I have no problem with that. I think that's what we're here for. We can meet and we can just take every fact into consideration and straighten it out for them. Now, if you get somebody that doesn't want to do this at all, some employee, I don't think you will, but you might, and they elect not to, they've done business with somebody and they elect not to tell you, then they may have a problem. But what we'd like to do, I think, is to keep them from having one. Keep the front office from having one, and keep the individual themselves from having a problem. So that's my little speech on that. And in that regard, at the last meeting, I'd asked Hans if it violated any internal procedure to disseminate such a list to these folks. He assured me it's not. And so, but I wanted to add something to that, which we can vote on later while I'm thinking about it. And that is that there should be some acknowledgement on their part, their initials or whatever. I have received this information, so that if they elect not to do their due diligence, if you will, and ask the question, then they may have a problem, and the management here doesn't have a problem. And so I would offer that up maybe as a separate item, Hans. But at the same time, I'd like right now to have I want to change this. You've got this stuff in your information, but I would like to have a motion to approve the last minutes, if you would, the last meeting. Then we'll go look at the specifics of what we did.
Yes, sir.
Approval of Ms. Lemaster's suggestion on ethics policy.
Yes, sir. I think that works. I guess that would be item 2 is the approval of the minutes for the October 28th, 2021 Ethics Committee meeting. So if someone would like to make a motion to approve that, and we can check off item number 2 there.
Here,
This is Jack, I'd make that motion. We approve the minutes.
Mr. Brewer makes a motion. Here, a second.
Carter, second.
Second. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes and minutes are approved. Now, the next item will be to, I guess, to approve the distribution of a vendor list.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We sort of consolidated those into item number 1.
Okay.
Was we're going to ratify the items, and that's preparation, circulation of a vendor list that we can use to identify conflicts. And I would add to that, I think it would be appropriate to include circulation of a vendor list and acknowledgement that staff can use to identify potential conflicts. The second item is preparation of pamphlets or other training materials that can be provided to new board and staff to create awareness of circumstances that may create conflicts. Use of our questionnaire to seek guidance from the ethics committee in resolving conflicts. Develop recurrent training on conflict identification. And finally, to develop interview questions for potential hires to identify conflicts, perhaps similar to some of the nepotism questions we asked today per the statute. And I think that was what we discussed at the last meeting. And we can add, I think it'd be okay to add to that, since it's closely related to those items. You know, HR or FPB staff will collect acknowledgement forms for these training materials or other, you know, things like the vendor list, things like that. So as Mr. Reader pointed out, people, you know, there's a tracking system for that. So I think if of course it's the committee's pleasure, we can approve. I think we could approve all that as one motion if the committee would like to, or we could approve them individually. It's just the kind of the committee's pleasure.
I have no problem either way. Chair doesn't, and so I invite any comments on that. Everybody, how do you want to vote on it? You want to vote on the consolidated motion or individual points that was raised?
I say consolidated.
Okay,
Very well.
that's good enough. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
we'll entertain a motion to consolidate into one motion, the items that are in the paragraph and that Hans has talked about, with the addition that there be an acknowledgement system
Yes, sir.
on the receipt of these things by each employee.
Yes, sir. That's good. Those will be the items specifically listed there in today's agenda item, action item number 1.
That was already a motion, I guess, by Maria, was that right? Or it was, I seconded.
I think it may have been Miss
Courtney.
Oh, it's Courtney. I'm sorry. Apologize.
That was okay with the consolidated motion. So maybe one way to articulate is ask the committee for a motion to approve the items contained in action item number 1 for today's agenda, with the addition of obtaining acknowledgements where appropriate of receipt of materials. You get a motion to that effect, I think we'd be off and going.
I move the acceptance of.
Somebody was sort of fading in and out there.
I think it might have been Miss Carter.
Okay.
Oh.
Ms. Carter,
I'm traveling. I'm in the car.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay. Did you make a motion, Ms. Carter? Or you prefer that to be put in motion form with what you just said?
Yeah, I think she's trying to make a motion and it just keeps breaking up.
It's just work.
Okay, I'm gonna consider it's, Ms. Carter's made the motion to pass the consolidated motion, if you will. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Second. All opposed?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Right.
Ask unanimous.
Unanimously passed. Okay.
I think that jumps us to item 3. We got item 2 earlier. So there.
Pages.
There you go.
Yeah, here we go. I got here.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, item 3 was what we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Item 3, approve revised section M of ethics policy. This is the one that is basically, as I recall, Ms. Lemaster and Mr. Burham, I think, came up with.
Yes, sir.
It's really just to clarify, the fact that I guess that some employee could not or officer could not engage in a conflict under somebody else's name.
That's
And
exactly,
basically that's what it is. And so, and then agreement was added to contract because there can be something, an agreement possibly that is not included in the definition of a contract. So that's what I would like to hear, a motion or discussion.
I'll so move.
Ms. Lemaster,
I'm muted because
revenue loss were there to be.
I'll move for that motion.
Third of which, other amendments to the CARES Act after the
We got Mr. Masters' motion to approve.
we have a second.
we hear a second to the
Second,
motion.
Carter, second.
Ms. Carter seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, that's.
Anybody opposed
I think
or
we're
any
good there.
comments?
The only comment I'd make is I remember that the goal as well was not only to involve, if anyone from a family would be involved, but also close friends or someone who would be an acquaintance that would benefit from that arrangement. It seemed like to me that was part of the whole. It was like to broaden it enough that where it would protect the plant board and the person as well, give guidance to that person.
Yeah, I think this language does that.
Yes, sir.
And so that's a good point, Mr. Burr.
Yes, indeed. Well, I think
We have a motion made, seconded, and approved. Motion carries. And the last thing will be adjournment. Do we have any, or do we have any other business? Any other?
I'd just like to ask the question, how, are we going to disseminate that information to current employees? Or,
Yes,
yes, we can send
I
it
know we,
back. We can send it to the current employees, and then with new employees, we were kind of thinking about during orientation when they get employee handbooks and such forth, we can distribute it at that time.
is there a time, you've got a timetable on the distribution of this, or the development of this information?
I can get you I can send out our memo to once, that's what I was kind of waiting on. I can send the memo to our board members and to our management today, and then we can send it on. I can send that out immediately. And then actually the formatting of some of the, to come up with a pamphlet and some things, I may have to consult with some of our experts in the graphic design with Kathy Lindsay's department across the street to come up with some materials that kind of like what Miss Lemaster had, I think, in her folder last time, a little pamphlet, little handout. But the memo would kind of suffice for the moment. And then once we get back to having safety meetings, usually, prior to COVID, all the groups would get together and kind of talk, at least once a week, whether it might be a safety topic or that kind of thing. We can also incorporate, these types of discussions into those meetings with employees. So there's some, I don't know, it'd be good to kind of have a formal class on it for everybody if you could, but we can certainly start getting it out with, in more informal methods and written communications. But the COVID has made it kind of tough to sit down and have face to face, obviously like today with but hopefully that'll abate some, and we can get back to actually sitting down in groups and kind of talking about some of these things.
Yeah, I would suggest that whenever this information is developed, or as it's developed, the members all get ethics committee members all get a copy of it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll send.
We can see what we're doing here.
We'll send out the memo to everyone, and then as we get the pamphlets or brochures put together, we can get that out to everybody. That's not a burden at all.
Well, I guess I would entertain a motion to adjourn I hope someday that, we all get to meet each other.
Yes,
I mean-
indeed. Yes, indeed.
Face to face. But anyway,
I'm gonna make one more comment just real quick, just for your all's benefit. We already have a procedure in place for when we disseminate new information, policies, procedures, whatever it is, that generally comes from HR. Unless it's safety related, it may come from safety, but we already have a procedure where we have sign off sheets that every employee has to sign off on.
Great point.
Or what we've been doing through COVID is sending it via email, and then they have to respond to the email saying that they received it. So we already have that's actually been in place. I've been here 10 years. It's been in place since I've been here. So we already have that.
that's good. We're just seeking some sort of acknowledgement that
Right.
we keep a record of.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Excellent point. Excellent point.
Somebody's usually thought of this stuff before.
It's good to be reminded from time to time. So.
Well, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Motion made to adjourn. Here a second.
Second to adjourn.
Here a second.
Mr. Brewer, I think,
Mr.
raised his
Brewer?
hand there.
Motion made and seconded.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
However, the board believes that it should apply when there's additional remote.
All right.
Motion-
I
meeting
think
adjourned.
everybody's good to adjourn.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Enjoy the nice
Thank
weather,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.